Hey peeps, Papa says hi to all of you. So I'm getting another download, and I found a smarter way to do it than I did last night. So I actually brought a notepad with me, and what I'm going to do is as I talk about each segment, if I feel myself veer off into a different subject, I'll stop. I will write where I left off. I'll keep the camera focused either in this area or somewhere around the room. We're in bed. 3 of the dogs sleep up here. Autumn, she very rarely gets up steps because she never really learned to walk up steps. She just hopped. Well, 8 years of hopping, on her back legs up the steps as she got older and more heavier, has done some damage to her back. So she can't get up and down like a whole floor of steps, flight, I guess you say flight of steps, stairs. Yeah, so this is Breeze over there. Red, he's on the bed, and Raven's next to him. It's like I am just so intrigued by the behavior and the what to us is silent interaction of dogs or cats or the animal species. It's actually their it's a consciousness that the dogs have. I know it sounds crazy. They are conscious. They have the capacity to love. So that means the Spirit of God's in them. I'm just going to drop this knowledge the way it's coming into me. And that's what he told me to do. So I know there's going to be some that say, oh, she blasphemeth. No, she's a witch. I'm not. I'm from God. And he said to tell you all that he made me this way for a purpose. He allowed things to happen to me for a reason, for this very time. Okay? So it's just, he says, it's in your best interest to just leave me alone. Because, he's softening me, towards the people that are, towards narcissists, which I was a narcissist too. Okay, so when I say that, if I ever say something about a certain category of people, meaning how they are in terms of actions and things like that, it's because I've been it. I was either a receiver or a giver. So I speak from experience. So I'm not talking from a textbook or anything. I mean, I am, but it's a combination of textbook and real life experience. So, man, I didn't write that down. Oh my goodness, my method is not working. So I'm gonna start with this picture. I'm gonna be flipping through some pictures and stuff on my other phone. So I've got this. I took this picture of this fly, and he's on the guardrail going down the steps outside our kitchen door. That's where the dogs go out, come in and out to the backyard. And that's him. And here's his friend, right? Maybe I should turn the flash off. Let me see. Settings. Where are the settings? And I don't want to mess this up, so we're just going to keep filming. Just like this. Oops. Well, anyhow, this fly, that's his friend. They were originally, I have a chair on top of the landing. They were originally both sitting on the top of my phone like this, next to each other, looking at me. Right? So I shoot them away because I was, getting ready to check my text messages and, just go through email and stuff. And I said, man, these two flies are just sitting here looking at me. So I shoot them away. But they didn't go away. They both landed on the guardrail next to each other, about a foot apart, still looking at me. And so I receive a lot of messages from God's people, his chosen ones, his kingdom folks that have accepted the call. They went through the hardship. They went through the trials and tribulations for the Lord. It's just not, you're just down here testing. This is for his kingdom. The things you have to go through, it's like you're playing one of the most realistic games of, I don't know, Thrones or I don't know. I'm not a big follower of these shows or the gamer world, but you are playing a real life game, and you have to reach certain levels on this voyage when you're a chosen one and you accept the call, because he calls all of us. He calls all of us to him. He says, come back to me. He gave us free will so that it's not forced. He wants you to love him because you want to love him. Not because somebody's telling you something. Like, he told me not to go off on a tangent. Okay, so he's called all of us. Some of it's accept the call. And when you accept the call, you're covered. He protects you from all your enemies, especially if you're doing right by him. Yeah, you're gonna stumble and fall. Yeah. So I got saved when I was 21 years old. I was stationed in Baumholder, Germany. I was with 8th Infantry Division. I used to be able to speak really well, and I used to do kind of like platform speaking. I was a platform instructor and a TAC officer. I trained the warrant officers, whether they were helicopter pilots or special ops. They came through me. I enjoyed that. Oh man, it was just I was around a bunch of narcissists again. So I was the narcissist's worst nightmare. So I mean, it was bittersweet. I enjoyed the job. It was the people. So I'm like, Lord, is it me? Is it me? And he said, yes. He said, I just want you to love these people. I want you to love them and send them to me. But I kept looking at the people instead of looking at the spirits in them. Because there was one time when I actually would just see the spirits in them and I just rebuke them, under, quietly or whatever, and things would be okay. But there came a point in time where I turned my eyes off of God because I let bitterness get in because of relationships and how people were treating me. And I was like, and I kept getting messages. This is spiritual. God had always sent His people around me. And they just didn't know. They didn't understand that I had been through stuff since my birth. My folks, this is what God's showing me. Okay, I don't know if anybody's going to confirm it, and I don't care if they don't confirm it. I'm not asking anybody to confirm anything, because once God tells me, I know that it is so. And He doesn't lie. He can't lie. He is perfection. He is all in all. He is everything and nothing. He is, I just can't describe Him, but He is just everything you want, everything you need. Just, I don't know how I existed without knowing Him the way I know Him now. And like I said, I got saved when I was 21, and I always found families, where I worked and stuff, and I'd hang out with them and, keep their kids and stuff like that, and, friends with their wives and stuff. So nobody had to worry about me trying to, flirt with their husband and all that. I didn't do that. Even though I was accused of that, there would always be a Jezebel spirit somewhere there in the church or on my job. This is when I was heavily into the Lord. And I was, a single, can't say single parent, because Daryl had already, he was already on his own. So, like I said, I'd either buy a little 2-bedroom condo, or I'd rent, depending on, where I was and if I had planned to stay. But at one point, I'm just like, okay, I'm at the point where everything and everybody is starting to sound really stupid to me. And it was frustrating, because it's time to go. And this was how I based my my decision to retire from the Army. I know it sounds crazy, but when it got to the point where I no longer enjoyed what I was doing because of the bureaucracy, and it just rubbing me the wrong way, because I have and I have evaluated myself, over and over and over again. I put something out there on X about how I, self-healed, because one of the individuals in the collective, I subscribe to so many of you guys. It's just so many of you that it's like the algorithm, it pushes you to the first thing in my feed, okay? And God told me, just watch it that way, okay? And I keep getting these messages, just, you're not crazy, just watch it the way it's coming. And what He's doing now is, I'll be in the middle of because I really love to watch and listen to my love messages, and I know they're from my kingdom spouse. I know they are. I mean, even though it's like for everybody, I just know it, because it's like you can feel you're connecting at that time. It's like your souls. So this is from God, and I know it sounds crazy because I'm still married, but He has a kingdom wife. He is currently, I don't know if he woke up yet, because I woke up on April 2nd when God came to visit me. He's awakening His chosen ones. There's 12 of us. My current husband is one of them. His kingdom wife is one of them. She's here in this area. I saw her. I saw them together in a dream, dancing and everything. She's gorgeous. She's got green eyes. She's retired Air Force officer. She's mixed, I believe. I don't know, I think maybe Hispanic and black, very soft spoken woman, very intelligent. I saw them in a dream together 15 years ago. You know, like I said, me and my current husband, we have not been intimate in 14 years, and we were fine with our relationship in the way it was going. We've been sleeping in separate beds. We were friends. We split everything down the middle until our karmic sisters got involved. I'm just gonna put it out here. I know, I know. And I actually prepared an apology video for you guys for talking to you the way I did on Easter. So I know this is so crazy, but I'm just gonna put this out here, okay? Because this is what's happening. And trust me, I forgive everybody for everything. I cannot take any bitterness. I cannot hold any resentment against anyone and step into my calling, God said, because it is really, really big. And it's something that I agreed to as one of the 12 before the creation of the world. We are some pretty powerful beings, you know, and all of us were treated like caca. Yes, we were. All of us. So, I mean, let that resonate. Okay, so there's 12 of us. And as soon as my current spouse wakes up, he will realize that I am not his real spouse. We have been doing this, the 12 of us, for I'm telling you what's coming in my head, okay? I'm buzzing again. So I know it's going to be like, if this goes viral or whatever, it's going to be that I'm nuts, and it's, you know, it's going to be some bad publicity and all that. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't care. I really don't care. I don't care what anybody thinks of me. God has given me that ability to take the trauma that's given me and turn it into strength. I look at things, he taught me to look at things the way he does, because I was born where nobody wanted me. They tried to kill me. This is what he told me. He hasn't let me see it yet, because he showed me a flash of one thing. I think I was maybe about 2 or 3, and this was one of the times my mother and father decided they were going to give it a try. And we were down here in, I think, no, we lived in Boston, because he worked at that international airport up there. And this all, you know, this was part of the big vision that I had when, you know, the Lord entered my body and was prophesied to my husband and stuff. Like, you know, when I was saying this, we are this of the world and stuff, and I'm going to finish that here in a minute. But all of a sudden I got this other vision right in front of my eyes. It's like the technology they have today where they could show the stuff in the air or whatever. It was kind of like that. Like, yeah, that's kind of the best I can describe it, except more realistic. I mean, and we have made great advancements, but it was more real, like I could touch it or something. I don't know. So I was standing up in my crib. I was in me as a child again. And I could see from my eyes, my child eyes, the lighting in the room. It was real, real soft. It almost looked pinkish, no, orangish, because The walls were pink. I remember the walls were soft pink color. And um, the glow from the lamp was on the wall. So I don't know if that was my room. It probably was my room. And I could see this rocking chair. It was a popular rocking chair back in 1963. Not 19, that's when I was born. Back in like 65, 66, during those years. And it did four things. It converted to a stroller and, did whatever. You know, that's one thing she did do. I always had the best. I mean, I had snakeskin pants and stuff like that when I was 4 years old. I mean, she dressed me. So I like to dress. I'm not a girly girl. I'm a tomboy, but I like to dress up like a girl. Okay, so I could see the lighting in the room. And I could see my mother. She had her foot, one of her legs, up on the rocking chair, the seat of the rocking chair. And she was putting together my dad's 357 on her thigh, up near her knee, because she bore a scar. Because when she went to push down on it to click it, because he had kept it disassembled because of their tempers. My parents were crazy, both of them. So I didn't stand a chance. you know. But anyhow, she was putting together this 357. And I could see her doing this in front of my eyes in this vision that I could almost touch. And then I heard gunshots, right? And then the Lord took that vision away. And then I say to my husband, I said, man, I can see the lighting in the room. And I said, man, I think they were shooting over my head. And he's still looking at me with these big eyes like, WTF? And poor thing. And I'm just like, I don't know what to do, what to say, because this has never happened to me to this level. I always walk with the Lord. Once I gave him my life, he really came into me then too. And I would know things. I had so many dreams. That was my dream phase. I dreamed about 9/11. Not in the sense that I saw the planes coming, but I was stationed at Fort Campbell, Kentucky. And in 1999, I had the dream. Now, in this dream, I was in a big room, like a hangar or something. And for the folk, the civilian folks out there, I'm speaking of a military aircraft hangar where, we store the aircraft. Huge jets, that like something that big, but the mood and the lighting was dark, dim, but it had like a soft glow to it. And in there I saw, it seemed like hundreds of coffins, caskets. There were red ones, there were white ones, there were blue ones. And they represented the military, soldiers and airmen and sailors and, the civilians who were slain. And I was in this church at the time. I went to this, I think was it called a Baptist church? I don't know, but it was the best one I could find in the area for, I just wanted to keep close to God. And there was a mother there. She was one of the older women, and this woman was truly anointed. Oh, I'm sorry, babies. Man, that's everything slid off the bed. I was getting too comfortable. Um, she was truly anointed by God. So when I would have my dreams or visions, I would tell her. And she said, that means, Lord is showing you a disaster, something's getting ready to happen. I said, but what do I do? She said, there's nothing you can do. He's just showing it to you. And 9/11 happened, and we've been, I don't know how many, over the course of Operation Iraqi Freedom, Operation Enduring Freedom, and the global war on terrorism, and, during that campaign period, how many thousands of military service members, civilians, and contractors we lost, So that brings me up to April or May 2020, right during the height of the pandemic. So at the time, I was back in the government because I was a government civilian after I retired for 4.5 years. I'll talk about that in my book. That's where I, worked in hell. Yeah, HELL. And then I left. I took a sabbatical to finish my doctoral dissertation because I started my doctorate work in 2005. And I had completed all the coursework. And I just had 6 credits left to complete it in 2008. And I was still in the military at the time. And I was working on this big Department of Defense project. It was huge. And I was one of the project managers on the Army side. This is up at the 3-star level. So we were building this system. It was supposed to be a multi-service system, and it was supposed to do military and pay for all 4 services, and 5 if a war breaks out and the Coast Guard is enacted. So I could see why we had spent $11 billion and hadn't built. I might curse, and I will ask God for forgiveness. We hadn't built squat. $11 billion. I could see that. And I was like, man, this is a problem that needs to be solved. How can we spend that much money and not have anything to show for it? Nothing. There was no system. What were we paying for? Talking about wasteful spending, sir, President Trump. That was some real wasteful spending. And I could see the problems. And I wrote my initial study. You have to write your first 3 chapters, and then you start your research, and you have to get approval from certain boards and things like that before you can conduct research. And especially if you're going to be using human subjects, you have to take that training, and you have to pass their board. So once you get all that out of the way, do your research. Okay, so let's get back to the 12. I will call it the 12. I don't know if we're apostles. I don't know who we are in heaven, but we have always been with God. And we're like mighty. This is all I can say. Our spiritual rank is high up there. But people don't think that because of what we've been through. And we maintain our humbleness. We're not to be played with. Not to say we're, badasses, but we're some badasses, all of us. And we were the outcasts, the ones that people said would never amount to anything. I was told that all the time. By my mother and father, everybody. Grandmother, grandfather. As a little girl, because I didn't understand why none of the kids wanted to play with me. I was nice. I didn't do anything to anybody. I just wanted friends and stuff. My grandfather told me I was simple. He said, none of the kids like you because you're simple. I was like, what's simple? Is simple easy? What? I would ask questions like that. And then God had given me, I always had the gift of discerning spirits. As a little girl, he gave me that to help me protect myself. Because the devil has been after my life from the day I was born. He told me somebody tried to kill me as a baby. But he hasn't showed that to me. He said he is not going to let me see that, like the other vision and all that. He said it would be too much for me to take. He said he wants me to be with my kingdom spouse. I keep knocking stuff off the bed. Oh my goodness. Before he'll show me stuff like that. Yeah, I hope I'm not scaring you off. I'm a lot. It's a lot. But I got a good heart. That's the main thing. I will not stab you in the back. I am loyal to a T. And I started watching these tarot readers and stuff like that. Many of them are saved. God will talk to you through any means. It's the humans, the clay people's misuse of certain tools and things that make them evil. All things were created for good. It is the heart of man and his intent that cause things to be evil. So I don't worry about anybody snubbing their nose up at me, talking about me in my medical marijuana. I don't care. It helps me. I use it as medicine. I study the terpenes and all that stuff that's in it. I think I bought a pamphlet up here upstairs so I could actually show it, but I don't feel like it. I don't feel like sitting up and looking for it. But the 12 of us are mighty, and this was agreed upon from the establishment of the heavens, this everything, creation, that this time around, because we've been doing this thing, I don't know how many times we've done it. We travel together. And, I was telling my husband this. He's looking at me, right? And then, he's talking to God in his head. And I'm answering him with my mouth. And that was freaking me out. I'm like, hey. Because I could tell what he was thinking, by the responses that I was given. So one of his questions to God was, who who or was a certain person meant for him or something like that, right? And I mean, this is what I gathered from the response that I gave because I couldn't hear what he was asking God. So he is truly anointed, you know, but he was under the spirit of witchcraft from my sister and his sister. I'll get into that mess later, but they ought to be ashamed of themselves. And I'm not a witch. All that stuff that you're experiencing, all the sickness and all that stuff, is dad whooping your. It's daddy. He keeps telling you guys to stop and to leave me alone, but you will not stop. So everything that you're sending to me is coming right back to you. Okay? You're doing that to yourselves. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing a thing. I'm minding my own business. And next, he's going to do something to you. So you better make sure your affairs are in order. Just leave me alone. You're not going to stop any destiny or anything like that. And I know what mommy did. I know, and I still loved her. You know, I did. Yeah, we were alike. That's what you guys couldn't understand. Although we could not stand each other, we had a love-hate relationship. She'd talk about me and I'd talk about her. But don't let anybody come for either one of us. We would lay down our lives for one another. But we hated each other. What is that? That's some crazy stuff. It is. We be stabbing each other in the back. But hey, somebody say something about what? I remember one time I had this lady in the supermarket almost crying. She had tossed something, one of my mother's items. I said, excuse me? You know, people hated to take me with them places. You know, I don't like that. Don't you throw anything, toss anything at me. It's like, I know Beyonce has Sasha, I guess before she's getting ready to do her performance, because she is an artist. I hope these are just rumors about her selling her soul. You need to come back to God. God's going to continue to bless you. Okay? But just like you have Sasha, I got Charmaine, the spiritual demon slayer. And she is enacted when I see somebody who I love get hurt by somebody else. It's like, I'm going to explain this, okay? So just visualize this. Whenever I have enough nerve, I'll do this stuff on camera and stuff because I like to have fun. I like to laugh at myself. And I like to laugh with and at the people I'm closest with, too. Because if you can't laugh at yourself, who can you laugh at? You need to laugh. Let this stuff go. You ain't doing nothing but make yourself sick. You make your own self sick, holding that stuff in. That's how sickness enters. And they're demonic too. The little, I'm not going to call them buggers because that's too nice of a name. I want to call them something else, but you know, they're going to be like, oh, she on it. Oh, she cursing. Yes, I do. And Daddy still blesses me. He just makes me pay for it some kind of way. Like 62 years of being infested by narcissism. That's a long time. But I still have a kind, loving heart. I'm love. Now, okay, in addition to this high spiritual thing that the 12 of us are, Because my kingdom spouse is one of them too. So when I was telling my current spouse about that and telling him about his spouse and his part of his mission, because I have to tell this message to President Trump. I know it sounds crazy. I do. But anyhow, when I was telling my current spouse about it, and he vocally said something, he says, "This sounds like some old cartoon superhero stuff." And I said, I can't help how it sounds, right? And then the Lord spoke again. God, because guess he was still there in the midst of us. He came out whenever he wanted to. And I know it was freaking my husband out because it was freaking me out. I'm not making fun of the Lord, but I know this stuff is so crazy and I can't make this up. It feels like I'm in the middle of some type of cartoon or something. I'm a character or whatever. So anyhow, oh God, I lost my place. I lost my place. How many minutes am I at? Oh, gosh. I don't even know how far I am. Oh well. So anyhow, he says this sounds like some old cartoon stuff. Da 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 da. Why does it sound like that? Because I was getting frustrated with him. God wanted me to have some patience because I knew that he was saved and I knew he had gone to seminary. I just didn't know how much time he had. Because when I first met him, I said, "Oh, you got a calling on your life, huh? A big calling." And he looked at me like, you know. And that just fascinated him. And that's how we ended up getting married and stuff like that. Because my father had to take my grandmother, his mother, my father needed to go get dental surgery. And he needed someone to be there and take care of my grandmother. So that's when, me and my current husband started living in sin. And we were committing adultery and everything. It was horrible. So, anyhow, I told my husband, I was stationed here in the DC area and working at HRC, Human Resources Command for the Army. And told my husband about it. And he said, yeah, we could drive there. So we drove to the Fort Campbell, Kentucky area because my dad was still in that area. We drove there, made a day trip of it. We ate our way there. Because there were certain restaurants that you have in the South that you don't have up here. And I'm talking about some good stuff. Oh my goodness, it'll make you slap somebody. It's so good. So we were like hitting every chain. And it's like, man, we're still eating. A 7-hour trip turned into 10 hours. Because we kept saying, I'm sorry. Now that I'm thinking about it, we kept stopping. And eating. It was so crazy. We had so much fun. It wasn't an intimate relationship, but it was our fun, We were both not. We were both on medication. We would have fun. We'd have fun. Just tripping on stupid stuff. Especially, when he introduced me to the medical marijuana, and I would be on the computer looking up the different types by name on what they had available at Beyond Hello. It's like, okay, what does this one have? And then I go to this other site that had reviews, and it had the medical breakdown of it. This is before I buy any of it. I know it sounds extreme, but I'm getting it for a purpose, and I want it to serve that purpose. I don't want to just go out in the street and grab somebody's nickel bag, or if they even call it that anymore. But no, I go through a licensed medical marijuana place, Beyond Hello. They need to expand. I think maybe they have maybe 25 locations in the United States, if that many. But they're the stuff. That is the joint. Pun intended. They are like, I don't know if I still have those pictures, like when I had to set up an appointment after I had an online visit. I could have chose an in-person visit, but I didn't want to be traveling. An online visit with a medical doctor. Some of them do that on the side, in between their practices and stuff like that. They go to some type of certain training, and they hand you after examining you via questions and questionnaires and stuff like that, and looking at you, it's a telecall. Lasts about 30 minutes. They issue you your license. You'll receive it electronically. And then once you get that license, you can pay for some type of special card or something like that. I didn't need all that. So, I just paid for the license and the visit with the doctor, which was $139, I think. I pay a year. And then I transmit that information to Beyond Hello. And I'm in all their systems. I can go to any Beyond Hello, and my information's there, my identification, my military ID, because every Monday and Tuesday, it's Veteran and Military Appreciation Day, and you get 25% off. So those are my shopping days, Mondays and Tuesdays. And then on Sundays, it's Senior Citizen Day. And senior citizens get 25% off. And since I am a senior citizen, I know it sounds so crazy to say that, I get 25% off on Sunday. So I can shop Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday and receive my 25% veteran discount. And just on normal days, say Wednesday through Saturday, you get a normal 10% off for being a veteran or being in the military. So 10% to 25%. So I like the bigger discount. All right, so back to the superheroes. So, and I was getting really frustrated because it's like he wouldn't listen to me. He didn't believe me. He thought he just kept blowing me off, and that just frustrated me. So I told him the end. I ended the prophetic message for him. I know God was really upset with me. I could tell he was upset with me. I could feel it. So that's where it was with that. So anyhow, it has something to do with President Trump and what we're supposed to do. We are supposed to do something with him to turn this thing around, this doom that is projected, because they're building up their armies now. China has the biggest army in the world. They have, I don't know how many millions of soldiers in their army. And then, I don't know who, but because I need to read the Apocrypha that I have here with me. I keep getting distracted every time I go to read it. I know somebody is trying to work something on me, keep me confused and stuff like that. And the blood of Jesus is against you there, okay? trying to block my mind. So um, there's somewhere in the book of, not the book of Solomon, but it's called one of the Solomon books in the Apocrypha, where he conjured millions of demons back in his day to fight in his army. And the plan is to do that again. So, I mean, Satan thinks that he has a chance of, really defeating God and stuff like that. It's not going to happen, and I'm not making fun of them. I'm not. But there's no chance. It's not going to be a real battle. It's not. It's just not going to be a real battle. Okay, and I hate to burst your bubble like that. It's just not. Okay, he's sent us here. I am truth. The word that I cannot pronounce. And he said that he did that on purpose. And I don't think it's funny. Because I spent like $70,000. This was back in 2015 for dental work. I went to this top doctor and everything. And I mean, my teeth are beautiful. And prior to that, I mean, I had the military stuff, and it was nice. I mean, for the military. And the military I had wore braces to close a gap I had. And when the braces came off, they put one of the, retainers, a permanent retainer, in the back for the two front teeth to keep it in place. It was a metal retainer. Well, when I went to this cosmetic dentist, he removed it, when he was doing the veneer work and, all that, and never put it back. And gradually, the teeth have started separating again, but not at the same spacing. And it's messing my speech up and stuff. And it's starting to look weird too. So I'm starting to cover my mouth when I'm talking, and I do not want to get to that point. So my current dentist, I went for my 6-month cleaning, and I had scheduled an appointment, which I was led to cancel for this past Thursday, last week, to start the work that the previous dentist, I didn't know, had left. His wife's mother was ill, and she wanted to be near her down in Atlanta, and he was no longer there. So at my previous 6-month cleaning, he had a plan in place. He said the reason why it opened again is because they never removed the knot in your gum that's there. So he had drafted up a plan to remove the knot, surgical knot, and then get me a set of Invisaligns to push it back in place, and then just get a retainer to retain it. And I'm a big procrastinator. That was around the time that the Lord first visited me, right? And my head has been buzzing with knowledge and stuff like that. So I'm really calming down a lot, I think. Yeah, I'm trying to get it all into perspective. It's just too much for me. It's too much for one person. But anyhow, when I went for my appointment last week for the cleaning, I thought they would still have the plan in the computer with the new dentist, but apparently they didn't. And he was confused what he needed to do, and sitting there looking in my mouth after the hygienist finished the cleaning and stuff like that, how they come and they do a final exam or whatever. And he said, well, I mean, unless we take and build this tooth up, but then it's I'm sorry, I might laugh. Because I can't believe he actually said this, an educated doctor of dentistry. We're gonna, build the tooth up, but then you're gonna have one tooth bigger than the other. I said, no, I'm not. I'm not gonna let you do that. I'm sorry. This is so stupid. So I had set up my appointment with him for a couple days later. And I had got up that morning, and I was going to start, get my coffee or get whatever and start before I take my shower. And something said in my spirit, you need to cancel that appointment and find another dentist. So I'm in the process of doing that. So God has a sense of humor. So I am truth. So eventually the other 11 will come out when they wake up. My future spouse. I'm sorry. This is so funny to me. My future spouse. He's waking up now. He's waking up now too. He's trying. He's trying to figure out what is going on. This is so crazy. I don't know. This is like something out of a sci-fi comedy. He's waking up now. The future ex-spouse is still asleep. He's still under the spell of my sister, which I know they've had an affair for years and they got a child. Whatever. I don't care. We were not like that. That's what I keep trying to tell everybody. We did not love each other like that. We were like brother and sister. We had each other's back until his karmic sister came to visit 2 years ago. And I know all the witchcraft she did here in my house. But anyhow, she wove her spells of separation between us, and he fell for it. So he's been under a demonic attack and spell from our sisters, which the bottom line is they don't want us to reach our destiny. This big calling. They want us to miss that because we are really, really high up there. They want our destinies. They're mad about it. That's why they try to bathe us with kind, sweet words and try to have us fall for it. And I did, because that was my baby sister. I took care of her because our mother didn't like any of us. She abandoned all of us. She did her thing. If she liked somebody, she'd date him for a while. If she got pregnant, she had the baby, leave him on my grandmother. But, Veronica, my grandmother, was too up there in age, so she couldn't do that. So I had got frustrated with high school and all the narcissists. And I dropped out. I dropped out of high school and got pregnant. And I really messed my mother and father up. Oh, they hated me. Because they had status in whatever clubs they were in. Even though they weren't together, they were madly in love with each other, but they hated each other. They were divine, masculine, and feminine, and they had a big calling, but they messed up. So my mother despised the fact that she messed up. I don't know what they did to mess up, but they messed up. Both of them, they messed up. And she hated that fact that whatever was passed down to me, whatever this is, this divine calling thing with my future spouse, she hated that fact because she missed hers. So when my two sisters came along, she wanted them to have that. She just didn't want me to have it. She hated me that much. She wanted to pass it on to them. So she thought it was like really stupid. But I remember being home on leave one time. I can't remember what year it was, where I was stationed or anything like that. I just remember being home on leave. And she used to go to these spiritualists, that's what she used to call them, to get her readings. You know, and that's, I'm not even going to comment on that in this segment. So anyhow, not the ones she was using. There are ones of God. Okay, I'll just say that. She would go to them to get the readings. And I remember being home on leave, and I would stay there at the house. You know, even though it was small, I either slept on the couch or, you know, mainly on the couch while I was there for the visit. And I remember her going and coming back one afternoon, and her looking so funny and smiling and stuff, like it was one of them forced fake smiles. And I said, what'd they say? You know, because she used to tell me what they would say, especially if it was something there for me. And she said, oh, they said that Veronica's going to be rich and famous and going to do something real big for the world and stuff like that. She's going to have this rich, rich husband. I said, oh, yeah, what's she going to do? You know, and she didn't say nothing, stuff like that. And I already knew my destiny. And I'm like, now this is my favorite little line here. I know she did not do that. She tried to destiny swap on me. My own mother. My birthright, because she messed hers up. So anyhow, and see, my sister don't think I'm smart enough to have figured all this stuff out. I knew before she even thought of doing what she's currently doing to me, which is total betrayal. But I forgive you. I do. I just don't want to have anything to do with you anymore. Okay? I hold no hard feelings against you. And this is for everyone. Okay, so if you're going through similar things out there, and I know the chosen ones are, this is your last big test before something we have to do. And you got to pass this. Don't let the karmics, I'm called karmics, and I know the so-called saved folks are going to say, she speaks like a witch. I don't care, okay? God tells me what to say, and I trust him more than I trust any of you. I'm not going to hold my tongue. So don't let any of the karmics pull you back into your old habits. They're going to test you. They're going to try to make you mess up. They're going to try to pull you to the point where you curse God. You know? Like Job. We are in our Job period. And once we make it out of this period, he is going to give us tenfold for the things we've lost, because I think we're all at a loss. We've lost homes, we've lost marriages, all of us right now. This is what I'm getting. So you got to pass this test. Because I know as much as I want to tell us so-and-so and so something, I have been instructed several times through my messages. And it's usually, and I know you guys by name now, it's usually Maureen. Maureen has that soft, sweet voice. It'll be one in my feed, the very first one. God says to stop. He's going to handle it, right? And she'll come on and she'll say kindly and sweet, she said, God said to stop. You are going to mess things up. He is going to handle it. And I love her. I feel like I know these people. He is going to handle it. You know, because when Charmaine, the spiritual demon slayer, gets ready to come, I feel her coming on. I feel a switch. I know this sounds crazy. I feel a switch in my head, and then my head will literally tilt to one side. And then I will find my target. And this is not right. This is not right, and I'm not making fun. And the Lord knows my heart. I am not making fun, but once I find my target, it's just on from there. And it depends on the level of them and how many demons they have in them, and how much of it is just their nasty personality, because it's not all demons and spirits. Some of that is the person, that's the character. That is how we choose to portray ourselves. Okay, I'm just going to tell the truth, because that's who I am, even though God thinks it's funny right now that I can't say the truth. Oh my God, this is so crazy. So anyhow, give me a second here, because I've lost my place. I lost my place again. My my kingdom spouse. I'm just going to call him my husband, okay? And then I'll call my current husband my ex-spouse, so that we're straight on what's happening. And as soon as he wakes up, he will realize who he is, that he is high calling, because I keep saying that to him. he tells me, get the F out of here. This is so crazy. And I go downstairs and I just say, okay, fine. And then a few days, maybe a couple weeks or so, God will say, go back and tell him who he is. And I say, I'm not doing that again. I'm not. I'm set myself up for failure. Each time he curses me out, I'm not doing that again. But when I explained to him during that prophetic encounter, and I'm sitting up there, talking for God, and then talking for myself, putting jabs in there. It was crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. But I am the truth. And the others, when they wake up, because they're all trying to figure out, like my husband, my real one, he's trying to figure out what's going on. What is this I'm feeling? Why do I love her? But God did all that, and he's going to manifest this stuff. This is so that he can show who he is and that he is real. Okay, we are all part of this little comical story, because one of the questions my ex-spouse asked during this thing, he said, well, why does it sound like, why does it sound like a superhero story? God told him the level, wait a minute. He told him through me the level of understanding. And then I woke up, I'm like, what do you say? What do you say, Lord, I'm slow? God has a sense of humor, guys. When you get to know him, he will have you floored. Like the week that I released the prophetic message, when all this started back in April. I think I released it on 9th of April. I was supposed to release it on the 4th in a live feed. That's what God has told me to do. But I didn't want to do the live feed. I didn't. I was scared. I didn't want to do the live feed because I relinquish control. I cannot correct anything if I'm live. I'm, I'm, I'm a control freak, which is the spirit of fear. sometimes, sometimes I visualize what these spirits look like, because the veil is going to be lifted here pretty soon. And if we're not prepared, we're going to be scared. Because we're going to be able to see some things walking around and stuff. And it's going to freak some of us out. So just be prepared. That's why you have to have on the whole armor of God. Get saved. It doesn't cost anything. The things you give up are nothing. It's nothing this world can offer you from what's coming, what's to come. And he's preparing it. It's on its way. My kingdom spouse knows all that stuff. I am looking for the remote. I think it rolled on the floor. I'm in like a little roll-out bed. I had the junk people come pick up the king-size bed that was in the master bedroom, and got rid of some shoe shelves. I had one room just dedicated nothing but shoes. And I had these built-in shelves not built-in, but shoe shelves put around, and purses and stuff like that. So when I was working, that was my my dressing room, especially after we got the dogs, because they would have fur on my clothes before I got out the door if I stayed in the master bedroom and got dressed. So what I would do is get them up, get them out, get them fed like a small meal and stuff, and I'd leave out the other food because, my husband was home. He was retired. And, yeah, that's what I did with them. So, I lost my train here. What did I want to say? Well, you're not going to lose out on anything. I just need the remote so I can show you guys, especially our young generation, that they like music, and music is good. Music isn't bad. I'm gonna call him by his original name, Lucifer. He earned the title of Satan, which he thinks is glorious. It's not glorious to be the bearer, the deceiver, the bearer of evil. It is not a glorious title. And I don't know why he thinks that. It's not. So anyhow, Lucifer, when he was the head ministry of music, or where I can't remember his title. It's somewhere in the actual Bible, the canonized version for King James. And then the Catholics have a Bible that has additional books in it. And then the Ethiopians have the 88 books. And then you have the Dead Sea Scrolls. And you got apocrypha, different letters and stuff that have been found in other caves. And people have taken this information, they've compiled them into books you can buy online now. Or you can have the e-version, or whatever you call it. I like paper. I like the highlight. I like the dog ear. I do all kind of stickies and things in there just to keep a thought. But I don't know where I was going with this. Oh, I wanted to show you guys some young artists. I don't know if this will get me a copyright infringement. Grandma dropped the remote, didn't I? You know where it is. You see it, sweetheart. Might be wrapped up in the blanket. That's so messed up. Oh well, I guess I'll show you next time. All right, guys. I think it's under the bed somewhere or something. But I'm not gonna worry about it. So this is super long. Once the others wake up, there's gonna be some big revelation. And the world should be preparing for his arrival. Need to prepare, even though all this calamity and destruction and devastation is going on around you. Continue to prepare for his arrival. Give your life to the Lord. Trust me, it's a lot better than how you're living now. You won't be missing anything. In fact, once you let go, that is the test you have to pass. And Lord knows this is coming from a place of love. So please don't think I'm beating you up. I'm going to communicate the way I know how to communicate. When I try to do it softer and stuff, I feel phony. I'm not going to be phony for anybody. I'm going to be me. Unapologetically me. And that's why people either hate me or they love me. And I'm fine with either. We now as a society want everybody to love us. That's not realistic. That is not a realistic expectation. You will forever live in a cycle of disappointment. I'm not going to let another flawed clay human determine my destination and how I view myself and how God views me. And you shouldn't either. Be it blood family, law family, kingdom family, because there's some funny acting folks in the kingdom family too that need just a little reality check. And it's all out of love, because you should not want to go to hell. It's not going to be a party like it's being currently promoted. I don't know what other way to say it. It's not. You're not going to be partying with a whole bunch of women and drinking gin and juice or whatever else they do now. I don't know. It's not going to be like that. Remember, I got a video out here. It's called My Side of the Story. And in there, I explain a convulsive attack that I had out of nowhere. I got extremely, it wasn't like dizzy. It was like a lightheadedness that it almost felt like I was leaving my body as my actual body was falling to the floor and my head hit. And then from there, everything was black, although my physical eyes were wide open. It was the scariest thing I've ever encountered. But whatever I was in, whatever dimension or space or area I was in, I was not here. That's the best I could describe it. And I knew I was somewhere else. But right next to me, it was like in the spirit, I could see a figure next to me, like as I was on the floor. They were, what do you call it, parallel. If my leg went up, their leg went up. Everything I did, they mirrored me. I was right there, and it was God. And he said, I am with you. He said, don't be afraid. And he told me once I came out of that, because I could literally feel, it felt like my head was twisting, my neck was twisting in contorted manners and stuff like that, but I couldn't see anything. It was total darkness. I'm talking about I couldn't see anything, nothing. And later he revealed to me, he let me go to hell. He said, somebody has sent a death spell to me. And he said, although he would not let it take me out, he was going to let it touch me so that he could send it back. And that's exactly what he did. So now that practitioner, whoever they kept paying to try to kill me, I know this sounds so crazy, will not do that again, because he now understands who I am, my spiritual rank. So nobody will touch me. But God keeps showing me they will not stop. They've been doing Google Google black magic. Stop, because each time you do that, he's going to return it to you. I'm not doing anything to you. I don't have time. And I don't care. I know that sounds so callous. I don't care, guys. I don't. I love you, but I don't care about this stupid stuff. And stop lying on me. Okay? I would never do that to you. You were my baby when your mother dumped you off and decided to go. Well, I think she was working at that time. You were 15 when she decided to go live with her, whatever number husband it was, when she left you with Linda. But when you were a baby and she was this executive director, because I'd already dropped out of high school because I couldn't stand the narcissist, I carried you around. I took care of you. I changed your nasty diapers. And you had this orange bug. And I'm going to show this. I'll make like a little slideshow whether you like it or not. And I'm going to show you in this orange bug. And that was your favorite little orange bug to walk around the house in. And it was like clockwork. Between 7 and 8, you did a number 2 out of this world. And you would come and find me. You roll around that bug and you would find me. And I was like, I think about 4 or 5 months pregnant with Daryl. It just made me so sick. But nobody else would change you. Your mother wasn't there. So I changed you. I bathed you. And then I would go to my girlfriend Caroline's house, but our mother bought me a backpack so I could transport you. That's how much she cared. So I put you on my back. Daryl was in the front in my belly. And we go to my friend Caroline's house, and me and Caroline would hang out and, stuff like that. And we play with you. And then I put you on my back and I walked back home, But yeah, you were my baby. But somewhere evil entered your heart. And I'm just not bragging about what I've done for you, but I helped take care of your girls when you guys lived here. There was never a school year they didn't have school supplies or new school clothes and shoes. And I did that from my heart because I wanted to. They were my babies. They were like my grandkids, since, me and you were so far apart in age. But then you let evil get in your heart, sweetheart, and you began to covet. That's where you went wrong. You began to covet. And sometimes we covet what's not meant for us, and it just turns out really bad. And that's what you're experiencing now. But you need to stop. It's wasting time. And I know you're trying to stop my future destiny. That's not going to happen. And there's a couple karmics out there too, trying to seduce this way. So I'm going to tell all of you right now, anything in the future, it's not going to happen. What God has joined together, no man, demon, dog, whatever is going to pull asunder, put asunder, pull apart. It's just not going to happen. This is a destiny marriage that's going to take place. The biggest one of the universe. Something like that, because we got a divine purpose. And this for the world. It's for humanity. And you guys aren't going to stop that. I know you're trying and stuff like that, and it's just like this is how I visualize it. Like little gnats that just won't stop. They don't do any harm. They can't do any harm, but they're irritating. And the Lord is teaching me patience. And I'm really getting irritated with you guys. So please just stop, because I'm not a witch. What's going to happen is God's going to get tired of you doing that, and he's going to start whooping your butts. And you're going to think it's coming from me. So just stop now. What God has for you is for you. And if you give your hearts to him and start serving his son, Jesus, instead of dabbling in what you call white magic, because I do get real readings from you, but now you need to give your heart to the Lord and serve his son, Jesus, and read from a prophetic point of view. Okay? And if you don't stop, he's going to whoop your butts. And when you give your heart to the Lord, because I cried out to him when I woke up after 2 April when he came through, and I said, Lord, if you get me out of this and give me a husband to love me, I will serve you until the day I die. And he told me he would. And he said, but you have to let me pick him. You cannot pick him. And I've been picking him for 62 years. I'm picking him wrong. And it's not to say anything against the person. We were not compatible. God did not make us to be together. When you let God do it, when you pray to God for a kingdom spouse, whether male or female, you have to release the reins and let him do it. And when he does it, it'll be like nothing you've ever experienced. I haven't even met them yet. I haven't even talked to them yet. But he told me in my spirit who they are. And the same thing for them. He showed them me some kind of way, I don't know. And we have been connected. I can feel us connected. And that something is about to take place. That's what he's telling me, the Lord. Something's about to take place. And the world's not going to understand it, but he says, that's why he made us the way we are, because all of us are really, really strong. Not just in body strength and all that, but we are strong mentally. We are superhuman or something like that. And I've been getting messages that, freaking CIA and them want to study me because they think I'm some type of alien because they haven't been able to bring me down. You ain't going to study me. I'm not going to be probed. Okay? Because if you have intention to try to hurt me, this is not going to happen, because God's going to take care of you too. But I'm going to get mad. And Charmaine's going to tilt her head. And I'm going to pray something. And I don't want to do that, because I didn't realize the strength that I was given. And I said, I will never do that again. So when I avoid fights and arguments and stuff like that, people think I'm simple. They think I'm weak. They think I'm a little whatever, this little wuss or whatever. Trust me, it is not that. It is not that. That's the farthest thing from it. I'll say this, and then I'm going to close this. And it happened on 2 occasions. And it was when I got really, really, really angry. And I never wished anything on anyone, but I just returned to them what they had given me. And it just wasn't good. So this one individual, when they would get mad and about whatever, they would scream in my face, how much they hated me and they just wish I would just die. Often. And Charmaine was humble and everything, and I'm praying to the Lord, Lord, how long must I suffer this? And he wouldn't respond to me because he didn't leave me there that long. I left myself there. And he told me that after the 2nd of April, he said, all this stuff these last couple of years is on you. That's why you suffered and you were under a demonic spell, because I wasn't under his protection anymore. He had told me to leave, but I wasn't listening to him. My mind was clouded by these folks that had been working on me, and that witchcraft stuff is real. If you're not serving the Lord the way you're supposed to, even though you're still saved, you can be caught up in that stuff, especially when they got a whole team of people, which they call gang stalkers, working on you. And these gang stalkers are members of different organizations. It is organized. It's called organized crime. It's real. And if they know you have some type of destiny, and these people operate by demonic forces, they just don't think they do, but that's what these principalities and powers and stuff are operating through you. You don't know it. You just need to pray. And most of you were saved before. You let money and power get to you. This stuff is ending, guys, okay? In a couple years. And I really think the Antichrist is already here. I think we're at that 3.5-year mark. You know why? Because the abomination of desolation already occurred in that AI video. In a couple AI videos. Where Trump was sitting in a throne as the Pope. And then when he was standing in the temple and as that gold statue. Who's to say that's not the vision that John was given? Who's to say that the AI, he didn't see the AI? That could have very well been what he's seen. We don't know that, and that's probably what he saw. So let's say that is, and that it has already occurred. So we are on our way to the end of the 7 years. We are on the latter half, because that occurred a few months back ago. I'm sorry, my words are, I'm not saying them in the right order. That's because I'm thinking ahead. I know it sounds crazy, but me thinking ahead, I put the words in the wrong order because I just have them all there, my head or my mouth ready to go out. And I'm tired too. But yep, I think that's where we're at. Just look around. I've made some notes. Because God told me I have to start making notes. He said, your memory's not that good anymore. Because he had told me a whole bunch of stuff this afternoon after he sent me several messages that he wanted me to just go to bed and rest. Because I've been going to bed like 3 o'clock in the morning doing these things to get the word out. He says that they're nice and everything, and it's reaching a lot of people. A lot of people are actually converting, because I was looking at my shorts and stuff, especially with the music and stuff. Some of them were like, excuse me, so rude. Some of them are like 600, one's over 1,000, like 1,600. I mean, they're in the hundreds. They're getting views, likes, people are commenting and stuff. I've been going in there, giving little hearts to the comments. I'm trying to keep up with it, but it's just so much, because I do take care of all 4 dogs. Like I said, my husband's been in the master bedroom since April. Only thing he does is take the trash out on Thursday evening. So I'm doing everything else. I sent a video that I took of him because I'm starting to feel threatened now. He was served the marital separation agreement by my lawyer Saturday. And it's very simple. I don't want anything. And it just split equity in the house. If you want to sell it, if you want to keep it, you buy me out. But I will check past records, and I will check to see if anything was taken out against it, because I'm not going to assume responsibility for that. And I'm not saying that he did it or he wouldn't do it. I'm just saying I'm not going to assume responsibility. Trust but verify. That's what President Reagan said. I respected him a lot. All right, so hopefully I wasn't in the middle of a thought, because if I was, I lost it. But I love you guys so much, and we'll come back probably tomorrow with another prophetic word. So I'm hoping that you got something out of this, because it sounded like I was just talking a bunch of mumble jumble. But I am going to listen to this as I post it. All right. Stay blessed. Do not let the enemy get in your head.